Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video. My name is Alexandria, and today we are going to get into how I'm feeling about my role as a talent acquisition specialist, how I'm feeling about HR in general, and where I'm at today compared to probably a year ago. And I am very excited because I have not done a sit-down video in such a long time, and I hope that my public speaking has gotten a little bit better due to the fact that I do calls pretty much all day, every day now in my new position, whether it's training calls or talking to candidates. It's just been so much fun, and I've gotten a lot of questions about how I like being a TA specialist, how I'm enjoying my position, and just kind of where I'm at with everything. So I'm excited to go there with you guys and kind of just go through it. I am very happy to share that I am now moved into a new apartment, and the window that I have right in front of me is just perfect for videos. I am obsessed. It was a little bit of a crazy day. The sun is kind of winding down, and I was like, you know what, this is my time to finally sit down and share a video now that I feel a little bit more settled. So very excited about all of that. So definitely get your coffee, your tea, your whatever you want, and let's just get right into it. So for most of you guys that do not know, last year was a crazy year for me. I went through a layoff, and I was also let go from another position that I was kind of so about. And I think I talked about it last year when I was like, I'm going back to work, don't know how I feel about it, whatever. Maybe it was me being negative into the universe, but that job ended very abruptly, and it was not probably one of my most favorite experiences so far working in HR. I think that I could say that besides that role in a second position where I temped at, those two I just learned what I never want to deal with again, where my expectations are when it comes to interviewing companies, moving forward in new positions, and so on and so forth. How this role came about was because the company that I was actually let go from, my old VP actually reached back out to me and said she had a friend that was hiring for another company and that they needed a talent acquisition specialist. She said she recommended me and wanted to send her my LinkedIn account because she felt like she kind of owed that to me after the turn of events that took place there. And that she said that I pretty much told her that you are just the kind of person that people are drawn to you. You're really good with recruiting. That was something that we were going to move you in to. Had you not been there anymore, that would be something that you were going to actually transition into from being an HR specialist. And so I interviewed for the role. I think I posted about it, very brief. It wasn't probably like my best kind of edited video for sure, but I just wanted to get it out there because I was so excited to share with you guys. Well, I've hit the ground running. It's been pretty much nonstop since I started working there, and I just wanted to make sure that I just had more clarity, calmness, and kind of peace, and was feeling settled before I could sit down and really edit and get back on the grind with putting out videos for you guys. And so that's how that role came about. For most of you guys that are still asking me, I am actually still in the construction industry. The last job that I had prior to this position was a temp role for a technical company. It was a home builder site that was based on tech only, like it wasn't really construction, but I worked in construction, so I kind of understood it. So it was interesting getting the back end of it. However, that also, even though they wanted to convert me full time, I did not want to stay there. It was a horrible company, horrible culture, just awful. The HR director I worked with was horrible. And when I say horrible, she was horrible. I think that there were some mental issues really going on with her, and I was just not happy there. There were some racial things that kind of occurred there with other employees and other recruiters that I had worked with that were also let go. Now at this job, this is not the job that I was let go from. I'll definitely make a whole video about that. But it was just not where I wanted to be, and as much as they loved me, I did not want to stay there. I was like, I need my out, I need to get out of here. So when they asked me to fly to Orlando for the day to meet with my new manager, I was like, I don't care how I'm gonna get it done, but I'm going. Like I'm taking a shot in the dark. I'm gonna call into work, I don't know, but I'm leaving because this could be my only way out, and it's back in the construction industry. It is corporate, so that's what I wanted. I didn't want to go back to working in the field on HR. And it was also remote, which I thought was a plus. For most of you guys that don't know, I had 2 car accidents last year, and again, another video for another day. I think I posted it somewhere, and then I just took that video down because I hated the editing. It was bothering me. But the temp job that I was working, the crazy director that I had was not really working with my schedule. She was lying to the temp agency, saying that I was just not showing up to work, so I had to pull receipts for all of that stuff, had it scheduled under her calendar. It was a lot of things. And so I just really wanted something that was either hybrid or remote to kind of fall back in line with, well, if something happens to me, then I don't have to leave my home to go to work. I don't have to frustrate or struggle or be stressed about the fact that I'm not gonna have a flexible kind of working environment, which is interesting because the temp job that I had prior to this one was actually sold to me as being hybrid, and not once did I really get to work from home. I was always in office. The rest of the HR team was not. I was the only one there just to be a face, but that's kind of just how that went. So I passed the 6-month mark now with being here. I do feel like within the first 3 months of a company, in those 90 days, when a company is like looking at you, you're very much so also looking at them. And that's what happened with some of my positions from last year, where in the first 3 months it was a complete disaster. So I kind of figured and knew that my longevity was not going to be very long, to be quite short about it. And so I am now month 8, I think, with the company that I'm at now, and so far everything's going really well. We just had a summit on Tuesday and got to meet with the whole HR team in person and our marketing manager, because we do work very closely with her. And so how do I like it? I mean, so far I like it very much. I always said that I was never going to be a recruiter, but talent acquisition is a little bit different in the sense that there is training, it's a little more specialized, kind of like an HR specialist, but it's for the recruiting diversity movement of the company, that kind of intro piece. Some of the challenges that I do have here don't necessarily lie within my team or even my manager. It's more so that the branch managers and the hiring managers and office administrators that we're working with are not used to the fact that there is an actual HR team now with this company. And so they pretty much have a chip on their shoulder of like, we're here to take their jobs, which absolutely not. I do not want your job. If I wanted to be a project manager, branch manager, or go back to field HR, I would have done that. And so it's just been kind of working through that. Now, I've gotten some great relationships going with some of the branch managers and senior VPs, because some of them are very new within the last year. So we're kind of on the same page as everything, but there are some other locations that are just my problem children, as I like to call them. But we are working through it. So far I really do like it. I have my weeks kind of scheduled the way that I want to do things. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are my days full of interviewing. I interview from 10 a.m. at Central to about 3:30-ish in the day, and I can average about 25 to 30 interviews in a week. Monday and Fridays are more for my catch up with managers, catch up for myself, and working with remotely. I think what helps in the recruiting aspect is that on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I can kind of go take a break, go work out, do what I need to do, maybe have dinner, log back in and continue sending notes, and it's just in a space where I'm comfortable. I don't feel harassed or anything like that. It's just a really good role. And I've also challenged myself a lot in this position because I have been heading a lot of projects. I've been putting out a lot of work and content, as I should say, for the company, as far as what recruiting should look like, what onboarding should look like, and so on and so forth. And to give you guys some additional background, and again, most of you guys know this. If you don't, then here it is. I was never a recruiter. My last role as an HR specialist, I did recruiting and onboarding, but my recruiting was limited to about 10 to 15 interviews, if that, a week. And it was really more on the hourly side. It was not this full-time mass recruiting that typical tech companies look at when they're looking for technical recruiters that are just simply recruiting and sending bodies. So I knew I didn't want to do that, but this is my first time really actually just having this as part of my day-to-day. So sometimes I will pick up the phone and do some cold calling for people that are open to work on LinkedIn and reach out to them, leave a voicemail, see what I can get out of that, maybe have an interview if I can. And so my days are very, very structured, very specific. I do keep my to-do list still. You guys know that I love me a good to-do list, whether it's on my OneNote or it's on my table and my desk in front of me. At least I have different areas where I can remember what I'm supposed to get done in the day. And I have also created kind of just a process of what the onboarding recruitment from onboarding should look like. I mean, I think I struggle with the fact that here, a lot of the office admins, as much as they want to kind of be the ones, and I understand it, they want to be the ones to kind of head these things, but the way they're doing it is so inefficient. We don't have an HRIS system yet. We don't have a very strong ATS, and I'm just like, I'm used to kind of working and dealing with those type of kind of problem areas that I'm like, here's a streamlined process of how to do it. And it's got getting some used to. I mean, I'm very much so Outlook savvy. I will have emails, templates, 1 through whatever for onboarding, because I do feel like the onboarding piece is such a huge component to recruiting. And if you guys are getting into recruiting, I just want to let you know that a candidate's experience is everything. And like I said for HR and other videos where I'm like, HR is very much so customer service oriented. Just your work, your customer service is your fellow teammates, coworkers, employees, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing for recruiting. I could not stand when I first started working here how inefficient the first week was for a lot of my new hires, and it frustrated me. And so that's when I started getting a little bit more involved, getting into some trainings, kind of voicing myself a little bit more that, hey, their experience their first week is just as important as when they leave me, because I do check-ins. And I think that freaked out some of them that I told them I actually do check-ins. I check with the candidates to see on a weekly, 30, 60, and 90-day basis where we're at. I cannot tell you guys, there were so many that were like, they just didn't know what to do. They were so this, they were so that. They didn't have any outline. I do like people, but it just seemed kind of chaotic. And I was like, there's no way that this is a thing. Like, there's no way that this is happening. Like, you guys beat it in me that we don't want your help and we got it and this is our stuff. And then I'm meeting with them and they're like, I'm not having a positive experience. It's a little bit frustrating. There's not really a goal or an outline of what I'm supposed to be doing. I was like, from now on, there needs to be an outline. You guys should know, if we're hiring, what is that new hire doing in the first week? What are they doing day one? What responsibilities are they going to have? So that needs to be talked about. That should be part of bringing them in for onboarding, aside from the paperwork. Another thing where I feel like there's probably some sense of animosity is that we were having some issues with our HR business partner not receiving paperwork for new hires in a timely fashion. You guys know, you guys are HR professionals. Those I-9s, really just truly best to get them done on day one. On day freaking one. Best way to avoid any issues, day one. They're having issues with them not sending them into her, not sending them the paperwork in. So what I've been doing is I've been sending these documents through Adobe, not the I-9s per se. So I'm like, this is the one thing that you guys have to focus on. That's it. That's all I'm asking of you. But sending the new hire paperwork via Adobe signatures and having it pre-filled so that they can actually complete it. When it bounces back to me, I can send it to my HR business partner and she can work on there. So it's just a lot of things like that. And I say I challenge myself with this role because I'm really just throwing myself out there. I mean, the onboarding process that I put together was out of pure just like trial and error, just from remembering how I used to do it for other companies that I worked in, and you know, how we can make it flow. And then also just the recruiting piece in general, like talking all day and doing these interviews and writing notes. Like, I feel like I'm writing essays almost every day. Like, nothing has changed from being in college, and then I log into work and I'm still typing like paragraphs of information for the managers to look at it and to have, so that when they're meeting with these people, they have a good kind of synopsis of what, you know, what's going on with them. And so that's just kind of where we're at there. Something else that seems to come up a lot is that someone actually asked me if I liked HR specialists or being a talent acquisition specialist more. And I feel like, I want to make sure I answer this question, and I'm very honest in how I answer this question. Let me just start by saying that recently I had a couple of one-on-ones with my manager, and I've definitely discussed the fact that I could definitely do the operations side of HR and have expressed interest in going back to HR specialist type work. I say that because I have to know where I can play my strengths, and as thorough and as full front and bullheaded as I can be and try to be when it comes to recruiting, I think that there needs to be a recruiting manager that can really handle some of these personalities. I struggle a lot with, you know, if I send them someone and I'm like, hey, I'm setting up an interview, it's like, I don't want to talk to them because I don't like their resume. And I'm like, well, you need to, and this is not the kind of like, I'm not asking you for your opinion, I'm telling you that you're interviewing this person, not for you to look at their resume and make a decision on your own. And I just feel like I can't relay it in a way that makes sense. My old coworker, Barbara, we worked together at the job where I was let go kind of unfairly, and she and I have stayed close ever since. And she is a TA manager through and through. She's very good at having those types of conversations, very good at getting through to people, and she's been coaching me a lot. But I think with the machismo kind of attitudes that some of our branch managers kind of hold, not all of them, but some of them, the ones that I at least am struggling with, I can't let them see me out of character, and I'm really trying to control my emotions. And it's just like, well, you know what? We're drowning in another area within a team that I would rather feel like I could thrive in versus what I'm doing now. I've made a lot of strides here. I've made a lot of trusting and good relationships, but I struggle. I struggle in a sense. So I do miss being an HR specialist. I think that once university recruitment does roll out, that I'll be probably changing my answer because I get to travel a lot more. I travel now, but it will be a lot more with getting into my roots and getting into schools. And you guys know how passionate I am about university and college, and you know, especially for minorities. I think I've made a huge turnaround for my company now with the type of new hires that we've received. We have just like new generation of the company that we're looking to bring in, and I just feel like I've made a lot of strides with that, and it's because I've been targeting a lot of the college students, and not discriminating by any sense, but really just drawing attention to minorities and how they could really come and excel at our company. And some of the interviews that I've had, you know, they've told me like, hey, I saw your post on LinkedIn, and I was like, okay, she's somebody of color, and I gave it a shot, and I'm glad I can talk to you. And I'm like, you know, really and truly, my feel on this is that if you are qualified and can do the job, and when I talk to you, I'm like, okay, you're heading in the right direction, your mindset is there for what we're looking for, the tech savviness, you're willing to grow, all of these things that we look for, that's what I'm looking at, really and truly. But I think one of the biggest things that when I started, my manager was like, you know, it is a very white male dominated kind of company, and she was like, and I know we can diversify it, I know that we can bring more women into the office, bring more women into the field, and bring just, you know, different backgrounds and all of these things that I just am so passionate about and I love so much into our company. And that's really what I've been enjoying as well. And so as much as I miss being an HR specialist, I think I just get really like, I love my candidates so much that I just want to, in a professional way, but I love them so much that I want them to have the best experience, and I just want to constantly watch them. And when I was an HR specialist, a lot of you guys know that with being the person that was solely responsible for all of the onboarding, I was checking in. And my old coworker, Barbara, she was really good on the TA side of doing high volume recruiting, checking in as well. So we had a really strong structure because we were always checking on our new hires. We were always trying to see what's going on at this location, what's going on in this office, how can we improve it, what are some discussions that need to be had with the managers there, with whatever's being told to us. And so it makes me kind of sad to kind of let them go in a sense, because I don't get that personal time. And I've been trying my hardest to change that a little bit and doing my check-ins and actually just kind of being more of a friendly face. And I definitely have discussed kind of traveling to the branches and actually meeting everybody at least once in person. At least in the 2024 year, they need to see my face at least one time. Now, for those who have interns coming in next summer, that's another story. You guys will see me quite a bit. But I just really do miss like that piece of it. I miss that piece of HR, and it's something that I've always enjoyed. And so I'm trying to figure out how to really incorporate that in my day-to-day when I'm doing so many phone calls and I have so many things going on. I'm sending out offer letters. Like, where is the point of engagement? You know, where can I gauge that area for myself to really just get back into kind of feeling like I'm in the day-to-day aside from recruiting? And so I've gotten a little better at it. Teams has been my best friend. We use Teams at my company, and it's something that it's a quick hello in the morning. It's a quick, how are you doing here and there, just to have a little bit of time. And I will block out time. I tried it this month where I blocked out time specific to having an hour to just reach out, do some check-ins, get a feel for what's going on. So, you know, it's just one way or the other. I mean, the roles, they're still specialized in very specific things. I'm not just recruiting. And I think that's another thing I want to be very clear about, is that a recruiting coordinator and a recruiter is very, I'm going to be careful because I don't want to get any recruiters upset about me saying this, but it is a little different. In my eyes, in my opinion, I'll say that. It's different because I have more of an input and an influence in how processes are put together and what diversity and inclusion, what things are going to roll out, trainings. I'm more involved in that as well. So on top of me not having time simply because I'm recruiting and interviewing and having meetings, I'm doing trainings, I'm helping my team with strategizing what the new year is going to look like. How can we do better? What are we going to do to improve our presence to the company, and how can we make these relationships better? And so that's just kind of where I'm at with everything. I do love my position and I love my role right now. I wouldn't trade it for the role. I think that it came at such a good time in my life. I was very grateful. I mean, I cried when I was offered. I didn't really tell anyone that I was interviewing except for my sisters, because I feel like I had a lot of evil eye against me last year. And so I just, not that I was overly sharing with people, because I've learned my lesson with that when I was like 20, 21, but more so just like, if I was doing really well, it was just rubbing people the wrong way. Now, obviously I'm not friends with some of those people anymore. A lot of crazy stuff happened last year, and it was just kind of like, let's just let bygones be bygones, and let's just, move apart. But with this role, I just didn't want any evil eye from anybody, whether it was my parents, whether it was from friends. I wanted to have the offer letter in hand and signed and sent back before I kind of announced it. I mean, most of you guys want to know about my experience and how I got into the TA role, and that's pretty much it so far. That's all that I have. It's nothing negative. And really, truly, I think that the team that I work in now and the manager that I have has really made such an impact on my experience here and how much I'm enjoying the position itself. And like I said, I have my days, of course, where I'm just like, logging off. This is my woo-saw moment, and I'm out of here. I am done for the day. The managers are like up to here with me right now, but for the most part, everything has been really, really going well. So I feel safe to share that. I feel safe to say that I'm very close to that 1 year mark. I'm a couple months away at this point, into the new year, into my 1 year being here. So I really do feel like there are going to be some good things to come out of this and some great content to pull as well. I also did want to mention that I will get better at my vlogging. I feel like I just don't know. I dropped the ball a couple of times, honestly. I mean, to be quite honest, I didn't like the Chicago vlog, but I definitely wanted to put it out there. I missed out on recording so much stuff, and it came so quickly. So now I'm like, okay, next time, learn lesson. Here we are from there. And it's funny because I actually got a really it was kind of a bad comment, but someone was not happy with my HR generalist vlog, and they said that all I did was my makeup and I didn't talk about anything. And I was like, well, I'm sorry that you felt that way. Also, I try to share as much as I can, but with working in a field like HR, just like being a doctor, nurse, or whatever, that has certain violation privacy laws, there are a lot of things that I cannot share with you guys. I would love to give you guys a literal view of some of these emails that I get, some of how I'm responding, what we're using, what's going on, and I just can't do that. So I'm gonna really strategize to figure out how I'm gonna do my vlogs moving forward with some of the feedback that I've gotten. Please feel free to leave questions below on how you guys want to keep more organized, how if there's anything I can help with, tips and tricks on using LinkedIn Recruiter, if some of you guys have access to that. And if you want more about kind of how I structure my days, I don't know, just tell me what you guys want to see out of that, because recruiting is a new thing for me and I'm still learning it as I'm going, and any advice that you guys may have for me even would be great. I look forward to seeing you guys all in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.